How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading, whether the price is going up or down. Binance secures crypto exchange license in El Salvador. So today, El Salvador Central Bank and crypto regulator granted Binance a Bitcoin service provider license and digital asset service provider licenses. The new licenses let the exchange offer all their services and operate their digital asset exchange platform in the country. Daniel Acosta, the firm's general manager for Colombia, said that the licenses allow Binance to expand the products and services offered, including options tailored to the needs for their customers in El Salvador. El Salvador's President Bukele passed the new digital securities laws, creating the National Commission of Digital Assets, NCDA, for overseeing crypto regulations. Binance is the first crypto exchange approved by the NCDA to operate within the country. Tokenized Coinbase stocks are coming to Polygon thanks to Backed Finance. After Backed Finance added Chainlink's price feeds, the tokenization project is now launching its various tokenized products to a variety of networks. Backed is attempting to onboard the popular traditional assets such as stocks and bonds onto the blockchain. For those of you that aren't aware, the networks included in this launch are BNB, Polygon, Genosis, Avalanche, Phantom, and Arbitrum. It was originally just on Ethereum, and they do have plans to add more support in the future, so this is good because it'll show that more different avenues can be used to invest in these options. And you won't be chained down to one chain, so if that chain has a problem, you won't be stuck with that chain. Feds still plan to charge Sam Bankman-Fried with campaign finance violations, so I feel this is relevant because I've had some people think that SBF skin off with no charges. Sam Bankman-Fried will still face 7 criminal charges, prosecutors said on Tuesday in a letter to the judge overseeing the case, and a campaign finance charge is not going away. The Complex Frauds and Crypto Crime Unit at the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney's Office hit Bankman-Fried with 8 charges in December. One of the charges was conspiracy to defraud the United States and violate the campaign finance laws, which was dropped in July. But the DOJ said today that in addition to moving forward with the 7 other criminal charges from the original indictment, prosecutors will include the alleged illegal finance scheme in another charge, so there's going to be 2 separate cases for these. So onto the charts. That was not the charts. That is. So our total is trying to get a little bit of a pump. We are trying to reclaim some lost zone. Did try to fill our wick. We could still fill it with the little bit of time we have. If we do not fill this gap, we could still come up and fill it later and then possibly get rejected. We could come up to this top of the channel, fill the gap, get rejected. However, this is a down channel. Keep that in mind because down channels are upside patterns. And if we broke out around here, we could test the support resistance area. Bitcoin dominance is still on a run. We have a green dot forming, so we want to reclaim this lost territory here. Stochastic's running up, RSI's running up, our momentum's coming up. Money flow is pretty stagnant. VWAP's getting lower highs and trying to head up. VWAP's looking a little sketchy to me. Money flow's looking a little sketchy. I would want to see these things kind of pump a little stronger, not be quite as flat. Bitcoin futures, we are invalidating our pattern. We had a big breakout yesterday. So we're going to get rid of all this, or today rather. Bitcoin futures closes a little weird. As you can see, we're 2 hours into tomorrow's candle. But today we did break into our pattern, so we broke out. I've been warning that that could happen. Now if we hold this range, we could still see this bull flag play, and this could just be like a freak breakdown. Stochastic is trying to run up. RSI is losing strength. VWAP's starting to curl off. Money flows rejecting away. And our momentum looks like it could start to come out if our VWAP doesn't maintain its strength. So I would keep an eye on the next few candles or next few days, because if we start to slide here and lose the support, we could get dumped down. Over on Bitcoin, real quick, if you haven't liked our video already, subscribe to the channel, visit our links down below. I'd really like to see some of you join our Discord. Got our 3D printer working. I'll be right back. So this is the second one I've made of these articulated dragons. I'm going to learn how to design my own, and we're going to begin some things going with this 3D printer now that all the settings are tuned and everything's been replaced, because yeah, it wasn't a great machine I got. At least not great quality control. But back to the charts. We are pushing up. We're trying to hit into this flag, so we are trying to break back into our pattern that we had that we could break up from. So we do have these signals everywhere that we want to get sucked back up. Our RSI is trying to head up, stochastic's trying to run up. Our money flow is taking a bit of a leap, not very strong. Our VWAP is heading up. Our momentum's coming up from this bullish divergence that we had yesterday. So we are seeing that play out. Now we are hitting this point of control. So be wary, because if we do not break through this point of control, we could just see a slide down from here and we could get sucked back into our value area low, which is way down here, and ultimately our golden pocket, which would bring us to that value area low. So keep an eye on that. We're not quite out of the woods. I'd say if we can break through the point of control and hold this zone and stay within the flag, then we could possibly be a little more excited. I'm not too excited right now because we basically got rejected by resistance. Over on the 4 hour, you can see we're coming back down, just breaking that. So our last candle, we did break through it. Now we're trying to come back down. Long upper shadow candle here that could end up dragging us lower. Stochastic's starting to weaken, RSI is starting to weaken, momentum is running up strong, but our VWAP's starting to lose strength, and our money flow is rejecting into the bearish territory. So we have a little more bearish pressure than bullish right now. You can see with this 2 hour candle, we are kind of testing, flirting around. We do have a bit of a hammer candle here, so that wants to invalidate the other hammer candle. So we have an inverted hammer candle and a normal hammer candle. Inverted hammer candles usually appear around tops and could signal a drop. Hammer candles usually appear around bottoms and could signal a run up. So we have a little indecisiveness. Stochastic is running away, RSI is starting to run away, momentum's coming down, we have a double red dot. Money flow is in the bullish territory, but our VWAP's breaking bearish. That VWAP is giving that momentum, that red dot, dragging it down, so if it continues in this territory, we could see our other time frames start to weaken. Money flow is bullish, slightly heading up, but not looking too strong. We are still kind of getting locked within a zone, so if we're not able to break free of this zone, we could ultimately see that get sucked out. Over on the 1 hour, you can see that we did come back, break our support, and we are trying to retest it as resistance. Stochastic is coming down, RSI is trying to come up, our momentum's starting to curl off. Money flow is still pretty flat here too, around the 13-14, so we are struggling to get higher and push through this resistance area. Our VWAP is starting to push away, so VWAP is in the bearish territory and gaining ground. We are kind of tapering out though, so that could be what saves us. If this VWAP manages to curl, we could see it lift us up and through this resistance area and back into our pattern. Over on graph for the daily, we are getting a decent run up. Zoom out for our volume profile. You can see we're trying to run to our point of control. So if we can reclaim these areas, we could test that point of control and possibly see further upside if we're able to claim above that point of control. RSI is running up, stochastic's running up, VWAP's heading up. Our money flow's testing that neutral, wants to break through, wants to go bullish. We'll have to see if it can actually break through and get some strength. Otherwise, if we just break through and then flop right over, we could be just set up for another swing down. Momentum does want to come up, so our momentum is trying to inch higher. So we do have that going for us. It's pretty much all on if the money flow can manage to sustain bullish trends or not. On the 4 hour, our bullish trend didn't last very long, and we are testing a bearish trend, so money flow could flip into the bearish territory and drag us lower. Stochastic's pretty tight in the overbought area, so that could ride out, and we could just see this ride this zone, stay overbought, and bring our RSI up. If that does happen, we could just see a slow slide up. Stochastic is, momentum is rolling off. Don't know why I thought stochastic there. VWAP is starting to fall off. So the VWAP's getting close to that neutral. If that VWAP breaks on the bearish territory, we could see this momentum get a sell-off and we could see a rejection of this area. Anyone that's curious what this little alert thing here is, that's our Discord alerts as well. So that's another reason you might want to be in the Discord, because you'll get to see the little moves that I've mapped out. Our stochastic is bending off, starting to sell off. RSI is again a double red dot, had a single red dot that wanted to drop us down, but that momentum and RSI are all flashing red dots all over the place. So we do have a lot of bearish action happening right here. Momentum's starting to curl off, money flow is running up, but starting to kind of taper off. Just watch out, if it does taper off and start to lose strength, we could set up a bearish swing. VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory here, so we do have some bearish pressure here. If that does continue, then that could lead the other time frames to weaken. Over on the 1 hour, momentum's overall selling off. RSI is overall losing strength. It is kind of ranging here. Our stochastic has a bearish divergence that didn't really bring us down yet. It does want to kind of push up away from that divergence, so we'll have to see if that can happen. But we are also flirting with making a bearish cross, so we could just see it roll over and that divergence make it bigger. VWAP is in the bearish territory heading down. Money flow is testing above that neutral, so money flow is slightly bullish but not very strong, so I would be a little weary in this area. Over on Anchor for the daily, we're still trying to invalidate our pattern. If we draw this line, we are somewhat coming up to it. RSI is heading up, money flow is coming up, stochastic is heading up, our VWAP is testing that neutral. Our VWAP wants to break through neutral and go bullish. If that can happen, our momentum will get a green dot and we'll see that curl up. Over on the 4 hour, we have a little bit of a reversal. That reversal could be signaling that this downtrend is over and we could see the uptrend. So when I warned that we may only see that about 1/3 breakdown, that is looking like a very real possibility, especially with the possibility of our total keep going up. Stochastic is heading up, RSI is heading up, VWAP's heading up. Money flow, not so much so. Money flow is in the bearish territory, slightly heading up, so I'll keep an eye on that. Our momentum is coming up in the bullish territory pretty decently, so we'll have to see if it can maintain. Over on the 2 hour, we are getting a green dot followed by that reversal arrow, so like I said, those tend to be bullish patterns set up, but we did gap up, so we could end up seeing that drop down, fill that gap, and that could be the start of some sell pressure, so keep an eye on that. Stochastic is starting to taper off, RSI is running up, momentum is coming up, our money flow is making higher highs, but our VWAP's starting to drop, so if that VWAP drops off, we could get some sell pressure. This money flow down here is pretty overbought, ranging, so I would watch out, as that means this money flow may start to drop. Just a little tidbit right there from the Discord. But we are trying to get a bit of a push here. We do have a little bit of a gap here we could fill. We had a gap here we filled. Like I said the other day, we've just been gapping all over on Anchor. Stochastic's trying to head up, RSI's trying to head up, momentum's kind of tapering off. It is in this overbought area, so keep an eye on it. Our VWAP is testing above that neutral and could break into the bearish territory, so watch out for that. If that does happen, then our momentum's likely going to get a red dot and see some sell-off. Money flow is rejecting away, getting lower highs, and overall trending down, so keep an eye on that as well, as if that slides over that neutral, we could slip into bearish territory and set up precedent for our other time frames. Over on XRP for the daily, we are trying to get a little bit of a bounce, so kind of like I mentioned the other day, we are trying to find some sort of a support resistance along this previous range from back here, so that is a good sign for us. We are getting a little bit of a pump up. We have this like volume node now that we've set on our volume profile. So if this node can sustain, we actually may be able to make a range where we could, let's see, fixed range volume profile, we could just say that this is our trend. So we are under the value area low if this would be our local trend, and we are trying to test back up to it. We could get stuck around this higher volume area right here, but if we manage to plow through that, we could test our value area low and then our point of control, which would bring us into this range. RSI is heading up, stochastic's running up, RSI is sliding. Our VWAP is trying to break into the bullish territory. Doesn't look very strong though, very baby break. We have a double green dot in our momentum that wants to bring us up, but if that VWAP rolls over, then this green dot likely won't bring us too much further up. But that is kind of like an inverted hammer candle, or a hammer candle for the bottom here. So a little bit better. That's a hammer candle, but we fell. So they're not always 100%, just like any other kind of pattern. Candle patterns are no different than bar graph patterns. RSI is running up, stochastic's running up. We are in the overbought area, pretty much as overbought as we can be, so we'll just stretch out this zone for now. Money flow's trying to head up, momentum's coming up. Our VWAP is overall trending up. We are getting a little bit of a slide, so keep an eye on that. If that continues, we could see a bit of a sell-off from this point, and this could be our local high. Over on the 2 hour, we have a green dot that wants to run us up, so that could help push us to this other range that we had around here, kind of like where I was suggesting. Stochastic is overall starting to taper off, so stochastic may set up a bearish divergence. Keep an eye on that. RSI is overall getting a little wishy-washy, not really going too much further. Momentum is coming up, but it is starting to bend as our VWAP is getting close to that neutral. If that VWAP breaks through that neutral, then it's likely to set bearish momentum and bring that momentum wave down. Our money flow is zigzagging around, so money flow doesn't really know where it wants to be. We do slightly have some bullish momentum here, so if that can continue strongly, then we could see a bit of a push up from here. However, if we roll over, then we're likely going to see that support retest like I've been warning about. Over on the 1 hour, stochastic setting up a little bit of a bearish divergence here with lower highs as price makes higher highs. Momentum starting to come down with the red dot. RSI is heading down. Money flow is making a new high, but if you look, it is also starting to drop off pretty harshly, so that could set up some bearish action if we hit that neutral and break through. Our VWAP is slightly bullish, but is breaking back down as we're getting that red dot in our momentum. But you can see it's not really very visible, so it's a small breakdown. If we are able to invalidate that and push up from here, then we could see further upside. However, things are signaling that we do have the potential to reject from here. Over on Algo for the daily, we are testing our point control here, trying to hit our value area high, so we almost got our full move from our pattern. So anyone that jumped in on that, good for you. So now I'm deleting that. That pattern's pretty much all played out. Stochastic's running up, RSI's heading up, VWAP's heading up. Our money flow's trending under that neutral, so keep an eye on it, especially with this long upper shadow candle. That could show that the bears may start to step in here. Stochastic is running pretty wild. RSI's heading up. Our momentum wants to come up as our VWAP's heading up pretty strongly, but if that VWAP, I don't think the VWAP's really been much above this zone for long. Typically when you get in the zone, you get a quick rejection down. So just keep that in mind as we could see a bit of a push off from here. Over on the 4 hour though, our momentum is coming down. Price is looking, we kind of have a tweezer top, not quite. Tweezer tops, you usually get a bearish engulfing candle. It's not really a bearish engulfing candle because it's smaller, so we do still have potential to push away from this and make a new uptrend. However, if we set more bearish pressure and break down below this green candle, we could start to see a rejection from here. Momentum is starting to curl off, stochastic's coming down with the bearish cross, or bearish divergence rather. RSI is overall heading down. Our money flow is overall starting to lose strength, getting close to that neutral. If it breaks here, we could see bearish action. VWAP is in the bearish territory, setting new lows and heading down, so keep an eye on that as well. Over on the 2 hour, a little bit more of a bearish engulfing setup here, so that does have the potential to drop us away from that 2 hour, but higher time frames do have a little more strength than lower time frames. These are kind of like right next to each other, so take it how you want. Momentum is overall pushing down with a bearish divergence, stochastic's doing the same. Our RSI is coming down, money flow is overall losing strength. We did have a new high, and we are starting to push away from it. VWAP is rejecting away from neutral and testing bearish and going further down into the bearish territory, so that's likely going to keep weakening our momentum. If our money flow and our VWAP don't get a little bit of a reversal soon, we could see all these gains erased and we could see some of our lower points retested, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that. That would also assume that the total would have to do some sort of rejection. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a wonderful night.